So there was a new film festival last March called Sinag Maynila, but because it took place during my university's finals week, I could only watch one of the 5 movies they were screening there. But hey, first new Filipino movie review of 2015. Bambanti, also known by its English title Scarecrow, is written and directed by Zig Badulay and stars Alessandra De Rossi, Nico Laurente, and Charmaine Buencamino. And Bambanti follows this mother and her child as they go about their lives. They're poor, and to make a living, they travel to like this larger town where they wash clothes for this richer family. And one day, a gold watch from this richer family's house disappears, and immediately everybody thinks this little kid took it. And I thought Bambanti had great acting from everybody. It had cinematography that's absolutely breathtaking. But for me, ultimately as a movie, for me the things just didn't mesh together all that well, all the elements. So I wasn't really as impressed as other people. First of all, like I mentioned, the cinematography in this movie is just incredible. Like there are lots of images of these wide open fields that for me seem to suggest that which is incorruptible and distant from like the impurity of people or whatever. You've got a lot of wide shots and aerial shots here that for me really kind of highlight how small these individual people are in the face of these corrupt social systems which the movie is really trying to address. The production design also is very simple, but for me it's able to kind of underline how close these two different families are to each other, because the poor family has they're always in the same room, there's a hammock for the baby and stuff, and the richer family is just like your typical house where it's individual rooms, people are kind of apart from each other. Bambanti is a slow-paced movie for sure, but for me it's never boring because the tension is there's always tension bubbling beneath the surface, but it's so quiet that it almost passes by almost completely unnoticed, and you really see it when the rumor about this kid stealing the watch begins to spread. It's just like everybody suddenly knows about it. You don't even see any signs, warning signs about it. So for me that's even scarier than actually seeing the rumor go around. And what I like so much about Bambanti, at least the thing I liked the most about it, was that you really don't know if this kid did or did not steal the watch. They really keep you guessing. This script makes sure to not give anything away for a long time. And eventually becomes clear to me that this movie is not supposed to be about if this kid really did steal the watch or not. It's about these people reacting to him. And in terms of actors, I thought Alessandra De Rossi was great as usual. She plays this mother with really constantly clashing emotions within her. She really, you can tell, loves her son, but she's very harsh with him as well. And I really liked how she was able to put that across. The young Nico Laurente, who plays the kid, was great. He really managed to keep me guessing as well, because you really couldn't tell if this kid stole the watch or not. But at the same time, when people would just, keep teasing him about stealing the watch, he would just take it in so quietly, and you could really feel his pain. And the director, Zig Badulay, he's always very close to his characters, and he really knows how to make everything feel authentic, almost like a documentary. If you've seen his first movie, M, you probably know what I'm talking about. But as for my flaws with the movie, I do have quite a few. For one, I think the movie does fall victim to a few overlong scenes that seem to try to drive home a point, but they kind of do it too much. There's this scene where kids are trying to take leeches off each other, and it goes on for way too long. And one thing I noticed is that Zig Dulay also, for me, doesn't stage scenes of external conflict as well as how he stages scenes of internal conflict. That's really his focus. But when there's a scene where the kid is trying to fight back against this older kid who's teasing him, it just feels weird and awkward. I don't know. But then the biggest issue I had with the movie was the fact that by the end of the movie, they do give us an answer about what happened to the watch. And for me, I really didn't want that, because I really thought that, the point of the movie was not whether or not this kid stole the watch. And the fact that they gave an answer at the end kind of was contradictory for me to what this movie was going for. But in the end, I'd still say Bambanti is an okay movie. It's definitely more for fans of Zig Dulay's directorial style. But yes, those are my thoughts on Bambanti. Have you guys seen it? What do you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, whether you agree with me or not, please leave me a comment. Let's have a conversation.